Then many guards in the parliament, I was told, because I never visited a parliament functioning at that time in 2001, went, and they also were shot. And I was wondering what happened to the Indian army, what happened to the Delhi police, what happened to this? And then much later, I came to know no weapons are allowed inside the parliament. I thought parliament should be guarded by heavily armed army and police and constables. And this is because of the tradition. A lot of our parliamentary procedures are from the British Parliament, and the British Parliament evolved. They are the House of Commons, House of Lords. And those of you have seen the movie Braveheart, where the Scottish nobles gathered together to decide how to find the King of England, King Edward. They all the nobles and the common men, the warrior peasants, all joined together for a discussion. And the ground rule of it is there are common people there, and there are these powerful Scottish lords and chieftains. And the ground rule is leave your weapons outside, don't bring your security guards inside. And the fundamental reason for that is Parliament is about parleying or discussions. And everybody should have the equal opportunity for discussion, regardless of how powerful they are. And weapons represent power. And so weapons and power, symbols of power, are not allowed inside. The only symbols of power that is allowed inside in our parliament is the president himself, not even the speaker, not the prime minister, not the leader of the opposition, and definitely not any MPs. So parliament is about giving everyone the equal opportunity to parley, regardless of the power. It is not about recognizing every individual and giving them the voice. It is not about aggression and power. So that is what I understood much later. And that is why terrorists can just walk in and shoot everyone. Luckily, at some point they intervened. This happened after the parliament was adjourned. But the fundamental principle is power has no role inside the parliament. Having said that, I think so many things I learned after becoming an MP. I've thought I knew everything about democracy until I became an MP. There are so many things, fundamental things. I changed what I believed that democracy was, or democracy is, or should be. Number one, I think all of us are brought up with good education, and all of you definitely, because I've seen you participate. We went to schools and we have good upbringings. I'm sure your parents have given you the right values, and that's why I'm seeing you here. And in our school, and even what we heard from our parents, we respected great and powerful leaders that India produced. Jawaharlal Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, and so many of them. And a lot of Lal Bahadur Shastri, and so many powerful politicians, and Indira Gandhi, and so many leaders India produced. And many of us respected them. But while we produced great leaders, we need to understand democracy is not about great or powerful leaders. It is about how powerful the people are, and not how powerful or great the leaders are. And this is something fundamental that most of us forget, educated and the uneducated. We yearn for good leaders. We yearn for powerful leaders. No, that is not what a democracy is about. This happens in the United States and Europe and all in their school. They respect their respective leaders. Abraham Lincoln is taught in schools in the United States and all. But one of the most important things that is also taught in many schools, which somehow it's lacking here, and that's how our concept of democracy is slightly clouded, is what is democracy is about. It is not even about the quality of the leaders. Regardless of the quality of the leaders, our democracy should progress. Whether we have a good leader or a bad leader, whether it's a corrupt leader or an honest leader, whether he is a self-serving person, is the democratic process which is much more important than how honest a leader is. So to illustrate that fact, I would like to quote Adam Smith, a 17th century political economist and political philosopher. So he says that one great guy, one great leader can head a democracy. But if 10 crooks, absolute self-serving crooks, head a democracy, then it will be a much better democracy than a one good and honest person heading a democracy. And I try to understand this. How can 10 crooks be better than one honest guy? And then I went through and tried to, this is not his example, so I'll create my own examples. If 10 of you and me, I'm the 10th guy, you 9 and me, we are absolute crooks. We are absolutely self-serving. I'm interested only how I can help myself. If we run a democracy, provided all 10 of us are equally empowered, it will indeed be a great democracy. And here's the reason. If, for example, this is the common booty there, public money. If I want to grab it and run away, you 9 guys are equal crooks as much as me. Will you let me run away? No. You 9 guys will stop. And if Mrs. Chennai and Mishra or Jeevan on with me, if 3 of us or 2 of us try to grab it, the other 7 will stop it. And remember, we are all crooks. No single crook can run away with that. Okay, I give an extreme example, but let's give another example. I want to take all this public money and take it to my constituency. Will you not say, what about my constituency? Or India is a caste base, unfortunately, but I want to do a policy and use all these funds for my caste, for my religion. Will all of you agree? You'll say, what about my caste? But even better example, let us assume for a very, very personal reason or a very selfish reason, I want to use all this money for education, because if I put that too in my constituency, because I put all this public money for education, everyone will clap hands and I'll become a popular guy and I'll get voted next time. It's a good thing. The motive may be wrong. Motive is I'm not really interested in the education. Motive is I have to win again. So even if I take it for a good cause, education, but you may have some, you 9 have different ideas. If I take this money and put it into healthcare, is what? Because you guys have done a lot of work on healthcare, and somebody has done work on agriculture, farmers will benefit. Somebody on children's nutrition, somebody on industrial development because of jobs, and somebody on irrigation projects. So all of us have different. If I want to take all this money and put it just in education, won't you all object? So a good democratic process is much more important than how good a politician is. And unfortunately, we have, and if a democracy succeeds or fails, if a democracy is destroyed because of a bad politician or bad leader, then it's a bad democracy. But remember, if a democracy succeeds because of a good leader, then also it's a bad democracy, because it should not be dependent on a single guy or a single guy tweeting to him and he giving you help. That is a very, very, very bad democracy. If the democracy starts becoming dependent on an individual, then it is the end of the democracy. And that is what we need to understand. And before I conclude, another most important aspect, I've spoken about my idea of democracy. I hope you all agree. And I was talking a little bit about children and education in India and how we value. It's a value system. We respect our leaders and things like that. And that happens in Europe and United States and other countries as well, African countries, Chinese and Japanese children as well. But one of the things taught in many democratic countries at the school level is the essence of The democracy is their constitution. The constitution defines the democracy. And you've seen the constitution book, it's hundreds and hundreds of pages, it's pretty heavy. And let us understand the essence of democracy, essence of the constitution, and the essence of all the hundreds and hundreds of pages of our constitution is just one word, or just respect to an individual. All the hundreds of pages our founding fathers, Baba Sahib Ambedkar, has written, along with the Constituent Assembly, who were the authors of this, was just one thing: respect to an individual and respect to an individual right. The entire Pratipadardam, the essence is respect to an individual and individual's right. We call them the fundamental rights. Fundamental rights. Rights to life, liberty, and property. But in other constitutions, we also, it's in different words, it says inalienable rights to life, liberty, and property. Inalienable means nobody can take it away. Nobody. But inalienable also means you yourselves cannot take it away. It is not your right. You cannot sell away your freedom. You have inalienable rights to it. You cannot sell away. So that is something I think it's not explicitly taught in our school. Certain rights are inalienable rights. You don't have the right to sell away the freedom to vote to who you are. You cannot sell away your votes. And that is more taught in many democratic countries in schools as much as the greatness of the leaders. So many young students know about their inalienable rights to life, liberty, and property. But this thing is put in more beautiful language, and that is the essence of our democracy. But 200 years ago, it's put more beautifully in the American Declaration of Independence, which is the essence of ours. Ours is a larger written and more explicitly written constitution. It's more beautifully put. It's more beautifully put, saying to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And that is what we need. We have the right to pursuit of happiness. And you may say, I said the essence of the hundreds of pages of Indian democracy is about respecting an individual and individual's right. What about development? What about roads? What about corruption? Actually, everything centers around this. How can there be rights to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness if there's no development? How can there be no health care and we can pursue happiness? How can there be no opportunity to work and do business and become wealthy? And so it encompasses development also. So I want you to end this by saying within yourself, not aloud, it is about inalienable rights to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. If we keep this in mind, we all become great citizens of India. And thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your experiences, and it was very inspirational, sir. And we hope that we are going to keep in mind life, liberty, and pursuit happiness are most important in our life. And thank you for helping us understand the essence of the parliament and the democracy, and wonderful understanding of democracy, sir. Thank you so much. Akshat, may I request you to stop the share screening? Sir, can we have it photograph, sir? Uh, Guys, can you please turn on your videos once? We have the digital photography.
I request all faculty members also to turn on their videos.
It takes a minute, just a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Honorable members, I am to inform two interesting facts about Dr. Konda Vishweshwar Reddy garu. He is the among few Indians who have a written copy of Indian Constitution with him, and Sir opens it on every Republic Day and Independence Day. This I came to know through Sir's video, which I went through 3 years back, and that is the reason why Sir has a widening effect of democracy. He can express things and all. He's a very few Indians among Indians have a written copy of Indian Constitution. And the second fact is that Sir has been a continual vocal person about education and child rights also. When we went through the poster presented to Sir, Sir was very happy that we took up the digital education bill. I think Sir supports our bill, and we'll are honored if Sir accepts us to see our bill.
Thank you, Meher. Now we have a vote of thanks by Mihira Bharadwaj from EPP First Year Joint Secretary, AV Student Council.
Thank you. Before I extend my vote of thanks, I would like to share that on commencement of physical classes in college, the AV Student Council will plant a sapling as a small token of appreciation for Sri K. Konda Vishweshwar Reddy garu and name it as NYPS tree. This is to make Sir's presence in our debut National Youth Parliament and memorable to the students of AV College. On behalf of AV Student Council, I am Hira Bharadwaj, Joint Secretary. Congratulate and wish all the members who have participated, and a heartfelt thank to our chief guest, Sri Konda Vishweshwar Reddy garu. Sir, your guidance, your values, your knowledge on democracy is invaluable and will help lay down a strong foundation for upcoming youth parliaments in college. Your support will always be cherished. Your love for democracy is today once again witnessed. I thank from bottom of my heart for guiding us. I thank our very own principal, sir, Dr. C.H. Rajalingam Garu, for always encouraging the student council and being very kind to support us through this event. I thank our vice principal, ma'am, Dr. P. Padma Garu, for tapping our backs always. I still remember your enthusiasm when we first briefed you about the event. I once again thank you for being supportive, ma'am. I thank our IQAC coordinator, Ms. M. Vidyulata, ma'am, for supporting us all through this event. I thank our faculty, Assistant Professor Srinivas sir, HOD Department of Political Science. I thank our faculty, Assistant Professor C. Vendala ma'am, Department of Public Administration, for supporting us in all possible ways. I want to specially thank Arshad Khan, BCom first year organizing committee member, for helping us to register with the ministry. I thank all members of parliament for the immense effort, hard work, and initiative. I thank all the faculty members and students who have joined us today. Last but not least, our teacher in charges, Professor Vinita Sharma ma'am, Assistant Professor Renu Mathur ma'am. Thank you very much for supporting us, encouraging us, and guiding us all through this event. Without you, this event wouldn't have been a reality. We owe you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And I finally thank all the staff, students, and other members who have joined us online through this event. And I also thank the Government of India, Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs, for facilitating A.V. College of Arts, Science and Commerce to conduct this National Youth Parliament online. Once again, on behalf of A.V. Student Council, I thank you all for your cooperation, support, and guidance. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you,